What's up guys, PDC here, and I'm back for the CALLOUS Invitational tournament. And today I'm going to be narrating Dice versus Jirachee. Doing the narration. I'm doing Dice versus Jirachee and ADV.
Don't trust this dude, he's washed.
I'm not washed. Dice is a very well-known player. He's probably one of the newcomers in to be one of the ADVOU mains or pseudo mains. Jirachee's been playing it for a while. Both these guys have had a very similar path. They used to be black and white mains, but now they are trying their foot in ADV, especially Jirachee, who I believe has played ADV in the past 2 SPLs. I think these guys are both good players. However, I would say that Dice is very obviously favored, not only in generally I think being better, but also because Jirachee has not really played actively in at least over a year. And Jirachee is known for using very similar stuff, usually either a variant of TSS, usually with Magneton, and Dice usually runs pretty creative shit. So let's start out the game. Again, this is recorded from a replay, not live, because I couldn't catch it. These guys played at a really weird time. We got Zapdos versus T-Tar, and Dice is going to protect, and we're going to see a Rock Slide from Jirachee. So Dice is going to probably switch out here unless he wants to get some damage on this and trap it with Dugtrio if he has it. But chances are he's just going to switch out. We see a Focus Punch and a Metagross switch from Dice. He's not staying in there. It's just not worth it. That could be CB too, but it's just not worth staying in. Metagross is going to come in, and Jirachee's probably going to be scared out and go at the Coon. So seeing a Tar plus Coon, this could be a lot of things. I mean, for one, there's that very popular team at the moment. Psychic only doing 29 means it's probably a bulky Coon. And that Surf doing 41 means that it's probably modest, but it's not going to matter. So right off the bat, I can tell that Jirachee's probably running a TSS, but with modest Coon. Modest Calm Mind Coon, which is really popular lately. But we do see a Jolteon, so it means that it's probably not the absolute standard build. Jirachee's probably going to be running something like Flygon could fit well here. Flygon really could fit well here because he needs a ground and a rock resist. But it's also possible it's like Meta Zapdos Mag, a build kind of like that. We see a Carrot from Dice though, which is going to there's Flygon, which is really going to be a thorn in Jirachee's side now that Coon is dead. I mean, T-Tar can still beat it handily with Earthquake and outspeed it, but T-Tar doesn't like taking Wisps, Earthquakes, or, getting exploded on. Wow, and okay, so we see Alakazam from Jirachee, so I guess this is not actually just a standard TSS. But Flygon, Jolteon, and Alakazam, we see a knock from Jirachee, so he's knocking off the Lax, and Noxam's good, but knocking something off on the switch is far superior. And additionally, you probably want to actually have a real Pokemon that can switch into the Lax. I mean, outside of just your T-Tar, and I guess technically your bulky Coon. But it's modest, I'm pretty sure, so it's not. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't calculate exactly. But in comes T-Tar on the Lax. This is still a pretty close game. We're going to see Dice switch out the Coon here. And we're going to see a substitute from Jirachee. Subtar and ADV has gotten really popular again as of recent because of McMegan primarily using it. It's definitely not bad. It's a very surprising thing nowadays to see T-Tar just go straight for the substitute. And Ice Beam does not manage to break his sub, which is really good for Jirachee because now he's going to basically get another free Focus Punch and put this Coon at around like 10%. So Ice Beam is going to finally break it, and Focus Punch is going to put this thing at 15, which is pretty much in range for anything to kill now. So Coon is basically out of here. But Dice can, of course, still Hydro Pump. He probably has Pump, and or maybe he can rest on the switch. Oh, and okay, so there's the Pump, and there's the Jolteon dodging it. Of course, Dice has a very good switch to Jolteon. I mean, Camerupt is going to basically wall the shit out of whatever Jolteon can do. There's basically nothing Jolteon can do bar toxicking it, but most Jolts don't carry Tox nowadays, and HP Ice is going to be doing nothing, so he goes for the Bolt, he goes for the Bolt, and then he goes for the B-Pass, and he's going to go out the Flygon again, and we see Dice know, obviously, that Jolteon is far too important to risk dying there, so he's just going to explode on the Flygon, which may have been problematic for the rest of Dice's team. Keep in mind that Dice still has a way to beat the Jolteon. He has Snorlax, and his last, looking at this, well, it could be a lot of things, but seeing as this is probably going to be Boomlax, and that's Coon, Boom Meta, probably with HP Fire with Psychic. His last could probably be something like DD-Mence or Gyarados or something. I would probably guess DD-Mence because I think DD-Mence is just the far superior Mon, which would definitely spell doom for Jirachee, as his last is a Dugtrio. which is going to get Earthquaked, and I don't know if EQ actually kills here if this is Jolly Doug. This might be a roll, and yep, not even close. Body Slam's going to take this thing out, and Snorlax is going to live to see another day. So Jirachee does not even get to have a switch advantage on a 50-50. He has to go straight to Jolteon. So now it depends on what his last moves are and what the spreads are on the rest of the team. Thunderbolt is going to kill the Snorlax, and Dice is going to bring in, let's see, Salamence. So these Menses usually run pretty specially defensive nowadays. They run enough EVs where they can take some weaker Ice Beams, like Blissey, and weaker HP Ices. So, first of all, if he has HP Ice, then he can miss the kill, unless it's, like, not EV Ments. If HP Ice kills Ments here, he wins. If he has T-Wave, he can also be put into a good enough situation. I mean, basically, it depends. I mean, Ments either EQs or DVs here. So, I mean, we're going to see what he goes for. I mean, if he EQs, he gets a kill here no matter what, as long as he doesn't die. There's the HP Ice. Yep, especially defensive Ments. And we see an Earthquake straight. So, yep, EQ here was obviously the right play. I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking about Dragon Dance, theoretically. And now it's probably very, very heavily in Dice's court, because T-Tar can out-sub on Ments. He EQs for a little over 50. Now that he's at that percentage, Ments can go. He doesn't need to go Harpoon. Instead, he can just opt to go to Zapdos, which is probably modest with Protect. And he's going to probably T-Bolt him for about 40. And at that percentage of damage, Ice Beam from Modest Coon should be able to clean him up at 13. So it looks like this is going to be Dice's game, unless this is some stupid, weird spread. But that's going to be it. So that's game 1. Game 2, we have a lead. Dice is up 1-0. And we're going to have a Jolteon lead. So we see Jolteon again, and versus a Coon lead. So Dice is probably going to be opted to switch out here. And we see a Celebi, so chances are this is going to be a build that has Magneton. We see Immense from Jirachee. This could be many things. Again, so we see Cloyster, which means that this could be a variant of the offense. I think it was Ask the Matitos who made it. The Cloy offense, which I think it was with Jirachee. It didn't have Gar that could have been running around, but we see the Mag, so there's no Scar to be trapped for Dice, which is kind of a bummer, because if I were Dice, I would 100% expect Jirachee to bring something as boring as Skarmory. We just see a direct explosion, so he only gets one layer down. Dice probably has a spinner. Looking at his team, it's probably going to be something like Claydol, Lax. I mean, Moltres. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so maybe his last is. I mean, he has to have a Rock Resist, 100%, and he burns Ments, so now Ments is like completely crippled no matter what. And we see Jirachee come in. Okay, so Dice is just going to Sunny Day Up. And now he's going to fire off basically a really strong fire attack. Let's see what it is. If it's... Yeah, there's Flamethrower. 38 to Ments. Alright, so that looks to be a bulky Ments. If a Sun Flame boosted Flamethrower is only doing 38. And he's going to go back to Jirachee, and the reason Dice switched out there is because he probably realizes that it's a very fat Ments, and it could Toxic Moltres, and there's no reason to get Moltres Toxic there. So he's just going to go out the Porygon too. And he also doesn't want to take a Rock Slide or whatever if he lives. And we're going to see a switch out to Moltres and a Calm Mind on the Jirachee's behalf. Now with the Sun Up, Flamethrower is still going to be doing a bogus amount of damage. And Psychic is... Alright, so Psychic is 69, and Flamethrower probably... It does kill. Wow, that's a flat one-shot. Wow, so Jirachee's out of the picture, and now Jolteon comes in. And even though Jolteon with Spikes is notoriously annoying to deal with, Dice has a full health Porygon 2, which completely walls Jolteon. I mean, it can T-Wave it, but it's not going to be able to do anything to it. And he also has a Celebi, so, I mean, it's not... And he goes to Mag, which, I mean, Magneton is going to be forced to Toxic the Porygon too. And he's just going to go to Celebi and absorb a Toxic. So, Magneton can be annoying. It really can be here. Alright, so he switches... Alright, so he goes to Gon on the Calm Mind. Keep in mind, a team like with Dice's, it could have Dugtrio, so I understand why Jirachee's afraid of staying in. And he goes to Flygon, which also could have HP Bug, but I don't believe an HP Bug will be able to clean up the So, oh shit. Okay, so it's banded. All right, so banned HP bug does manage to kill the Celebi. I thought it might have a little more defense. I always forget the HP bug rolls, but either way, Coon is going to come out, and depending on how fast and strong the Coon is, this could be really bad for Jirachee. So we see a Calm Mind up. So Dice is just straight up going for it. Dice really does not have any answers to Coon outside. I mean, he has Jolteon and Mag, but the Coon may be faster than Mag, and Coon, once it's at +1 with no sand, is really, really hard to chip. And if it's Rest or if it's Sleep Talk, I mean, as you can see, Jolteon is doing only 31% with its Thunderbolts now, so basically he's going to have to crit him, or he's going to have to hope that his Magneton can break it. Because if this Coon gets to one more Calm Mind, it's basically not going to be able to be touched by Jolteon. Jolteon already cannot Rest Loop it, and there you go. Or Jolteon is forced to already Rest Loop it, and now that it's a +3, T-Bolt's going to be doing like 27. Okay, so he crits him. Alright, fair enough. Okay, so Coon would have swept there. Easy sweep. Especially because he had Sleep Talk, but that's going to be it. So he goes to Porygon 2. This could be a Game 3 situation. Dice is not in a great spot, but he's not really in a disadvantage that highly either. He's going to go for the T-Wave. Let's see what Dice's last is. I mean, it could be... Okay, so it's... Okay, so yeah, I mean, it had to be a Rock Resist. It had to be another Rock Resist, so I thought it was either going to be Claydol or something that could trap T-Tar or probably not Lax at this point, because I feel like you're way too weak to stuff like Aerodactyl and D-Tar. There's the Mash, and Metagross has Leftovers, and now Metagross could be... If this has Protect, this could actually be really hard, because he can basically prevent Flygon from killing it and keep getting Leftovers over and over again. But keep in mind, I mean, Porygon 2 is going to wall Flygon no matter what. I mean, there's nothing that Flygon can do to a Porygon 2. Banded or not, he would have to get something like 4 flinches to actually kill it. So he just goes to the EQ, but Porygon 2 is going to be immune. And Jolteon is annoying here, but, you know, he can obviously just spam T-Wave if he wants, because he can prevent Jolt from coming in. But instead, Dice knows that he's not going to want to let Jolt get parried, and Magneton is not necessarily beaten by Porygon 2, unless Porygon 2 gets either is carrying HP Fighting, or he gets really, really lucky, because it doesn't have the Volt Absorb. So he doubles out to Moltres to catch the Porygon 2 double, and now it's going to come down to... I mean, he can just Flamethrower right here for basically free, because Porygon 2 can come into Flygon whenever. He could also... Oh, and he gets a crit. Wow, it's... Alright, so if this is Adamant Flygon, Dice can probably just win right here. He goes out with a Magneton. Dice switches out. I guess he couldn't determine whether it was Adamant from the HP bug or Jolly. I would assume it's Jolly, because you kind of need the extra speed for things like Celebi and Jirachee nowadays. We see a Metagross come in again on the Magneton. We see a Bolt doing 56. I mean, if he explodes, he gets a kill. But, you know, at what cost? There's the Earthquake. Again, Porygon 2 can come in for basically free on Flygon. I mean, either way, if he... You see, even if Dice decides to double to Jolt, Porygon 2 is just going to trace the Volt Absorb. And the best thing that he can only... The only thing that he can do to it then is he can... The only thing he can do to it then is he can pair it. But basically, if he somehow manages to pair Porygon 2, then Dice... You know, I mean, Dice can pretty much win just off the bat, because only Flygon is going to be able to beat Porygon 2, as a paired Porygon 2 with Volt Absorb cannot be hurt by Mag, and it cannot be hurt by Jolt. And Flygon is going to die in one shot to Ice Beam, and it can't switch into anything it has. So, Dice again switches out to Magneton. He gets Magnet Pull instead of Volt Absorb, which allows him to at least be hit by strong Thunderbolts, and he goes to Metagross again. So let's see if he gets a Para on the T-Bolt, and he does. So, Dice gets lucky, and he gets a Para. So now we have to see what Dice goes for. It's either Earthquake or Mash. Mash will kill Flygon. Earthquake will kill the Mag, and he goes for the Mash. So now, anytime that Magneton or Metagross comes in, he basically gets a kill. And he's going to have to switch into Magneton at some point. He doesn't even need Moltres anymore, because all he needs to do is just basically wall the rest of his team. And chances are, yep, Dice is going to live the T-Bolt anyway, because it's probably a very heavily HP-invested Metagross, with maybe a little bit leftover special defense. And he's just going to kill the Jolteon. So that's going to be it. Now Magneton is paired and it's going to die. So that's going to be the game. Very quick two-game series. I wouldn't say, I mean, Dice got lucky, very lucky on the para. But at the same time, I mean, there was a chance, and I mean, getting the Mash predict 50-50 was impressive enough by itself. And Dice would have won also if Coon was not crit. Having Sleep Talk pretty much made it 100% that he could not be Rest Looped, so as soon as he you know, unless he killed Jolteon in like a very, very bad position where he could be killed by EQ afterwards. And even then, with Jolteon dead, I mean, that'd be it. So yeah, that's gonna be game from Dice and Jirachee. Dice 2-0's Jirachee, and I think this means that Jirachee is now officially out of the tournament with no wins. So that's gonna be it. Jirachee is gone, and Dice wins 2-0. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the rush commentary, but I mean, I wanted to do this game, but this actually turned out to not be the most exciting one to do. I thought Dice's teams are pretty cool as usual, but that's about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Which I think the next one I'll be narrating is, I think it's N-Dragon versus UD. So two friends of mine, again, as usual. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.